We put this poll up on our Facebook page and asked our viewers, what do you think? Is wine mom culture a good thing or a bad thing? And, 70% said no big deal. Only 30% really believe that this is actually a bad thing. Abby, you have 8 kids. You posted something that I had a chuckle about saying you don't need wine to be a good mom. Do you think that's a little judgy? I mean, momming is hard for a lot of people.
It is hard. I mean, look, being a mother is the most sacrificial thing you'll ever do in your life. It's the most rewarding thing you'll ever do in your life. But I just know that we're really fostering this idea that we need a substance to cope with life, to cope with motherhood. And it's not healthy. And it's time that moms, people like me, I mean, I've got 8 kids, I'm busy, I've got a crazy life, but it's time for people to start really speaking out about the dangers of this culture that they're really perpetuating to the American woman.
One of the things I think hasn't been discussed is the effects on the children. I want to play for you a soundbite. That woman's son spoke to Nightline as well, and here's what he said. Listen.
I didn't know it was out of the ordinary because that's how I grew up. That's what I was used to. Every night she would grab a glass of wine, and I asked her, what's that? And she was like, it's wine. It's an alcohol. And I was like, oh, I heard of that in school. Doesn't that make you addicted to it? And she's like, yeah, but I'm not addicted. I don't know, she was trying to deny the fact that she was using it as an outlet for stress.
He sounds like an adult. Adrianna, you're sort of pro-culture, saying, yeah, it's not such a bad thing. But when you hear that, do you worry there's an effect on children?
Well, what an evolved child, first of all, right, to be able to point that out. Look, I mean, alcoholism is no laughing matter. I was at an AA meeting last night supporting a girlfriend who's going through something very similar. She was big into the wine culture. We would go out, we would have drinks together and a lot of fun. And one thing led to another and it went too far. There's sobriety surrounding me. I have family members who are sober. I have friends, I have teachers, my spouse. But I don't think that this wine culture, sort of this mom rebellion of talking about the fact that we've done everything for you guys today. We picked up after you. We drove you here and there. We are trying to be the perfect spouses. We are working. So it's sort of like this wine culture is like this mom rebellion of us sticking together and saying, now I'm going to have a drink at the end of the day. It is me time. I'm going to focus on myself. And the T-shirt, I mean, listen, I've hashtag one too many times coffee to cocktails. I joke about it all the time. I almost think I joke about it or talk about it more than I actually drink. I don't think it's irresponsible necessarily of the community. I just think that yes, I understand how it could possibly give validation to people who might have a problem or lean towards alcoholism. It makes it okay. But then again, do the Corona commercials, I mean, should we not be watching movies where there's drug abuse in it or cocaine where they glamorize that? So I think you have to draw the line for yourself is ultimately my answer.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, Abby, there are dilly-dilly commercials at Super Bowl time, and all the guys can watch football and drink as much beer as they want. And Adrianna is saying, listen, this is the only outlet we have. Leave us be. What's your response to that?
Well, I think it's really sad if the only outlet a woman has is to drink alcohol. I mean, I'm not opposed to having a glass of wine every once in a while, if it's my anniversary dinner, whatever it may be. But if that's your only coping mechanism, if that's your only outlet, that's actually really, really sad. And that's very telling about a woman's life, that she needs to find other ways to cope. She needs to find other outlets. And there are many of them out there that don't involve drinking or potentially alcohol abuse. And what does it say to our children? That momming is so hard, that dealing with you is so hard every day, that I have to drink in order to be a mom. It's a devaluation of our children. It's just a little bit, but that's what happens. That's how devaluing happens. That's how dehumanization happens.